Hello, everyone. On this edition of Groove and Greet, I have Miss Anita and I have the ultimate lawyer, Barrister Uche Ojembe, and the development consultant, Mr. Nkemze. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Okay. So, today we'll be talking pretty about land transactional documentations. Like, some clients will tell you they wouldn't want you to issue them this deed of partition. What they prefer is for you to have them issued deed of assignment. So can you help us tell us, why if that's necessary to issue any of the both, or you can issue both on a transaction?
Okay. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, in respect to a deed of partitioning, a deed of partitioning generally is used where you have joint ownership. For example, family lands. So, you have different people who own a particular property. The deed of partitioning is simply used as a way of demarcating and specifying the particular property for the owner
Okay.
to avoid any dispute in the future. So you have a big piece of land co-owned by different people. Since it is co-owned, everybody knows their portion. The deed of partitioning specifies their portion and where it should not go beyond.
Exceed, yeah.
Yes. Then, in respect to a deed of assignment, a deed of assignment, simply put, is used to transfer ownership from one person to another. Now, in a transaction whereby you execute a deed of partitioning, it is always crucial to register the deed of partition for it to
Have an
be
effect.
legally used to transfer a property from the owner to
The
the
owner.
next buyer. Okay, does it make sense to you?
No, it does. It does.
Okay,
It does.
so when you are doing that, you don't, like me, I always say you cannot give both a deed of partition and a deed of assignment to one person.
Okay.
Deed of partitioning is just an evidence that you co-owned. Deed of assignment is what you transfer. You use to transfer legal title to the person. So, as a real estate mogul, when you are doing that type of transaction, what you give is the deed of assignment.
Okay. Okay. Another question I would like to ask is that the R of O, that's a right of occupancy. What power does it have to your ownership of a land? The R of O. I'm not talking about CFO right now. What strength does the R of O has over a landed property?
Well, the RFO gives you the right to transact on a particular property.
Does it have limitations? Do you have any limitation with it?
The limitation is it cannot go beyond the scope, beyond what it covers.
What does it cover?
It covers a particular piece of land.
No, let's understand this. The right of occupancy, can it be revoked?
Can the right of occupancy be revoked?
Yes, can it?
Even the certificate of occupancy can be revoked.
Okay, no, all these documents have their own legal strength now, right?
Yes.
Because if you go to bank now, you want to use that as a collateral to get maybe a facility or get a loan, they would prefer to have a CFO. Why? Why don't they take RFO?
The CFO is the ultimate document.
Okay.
It's the ultimate document that shows legal interest, legal ownership of a particular parcel of land. So it's usually safer
To have a
to
CFO.
use a CFO for a transaction. However, it is important to note that the RFO comes first. It gives you the right to carry on transactions on
the
a
land.
property. Yes, while you now apply to be issued the CFO. So when you have an RFO, you can still transact, but there should also be you should also be in the process of acquiring your CFO. I don't know if it makes sense to you.
No, it does make sense.
Yes.
Another thing is we've been having some kind of I won't call that a challenge. We'll be having some kind of issues, with the local land registrars in Abuja, which are the area council chairman and all of that. Now, I think from the last guest we had, talked about the land use as specifying that all the lands in FCT belongs to the minister, and he's only one that have the right to allocate lands to people. Now the question is, we've had cases where lands have been allocated by area council people. Now, what I'm trying to say is that most of these places have been developed, fully developed. What do you think? They Do you think we need some kind of amendment in the Land Use Act, because a lot of places that have been formerly built, in time past, these are area council properties, and they have not been reissued. As I'm talking to you right now, most of those places still have the area council titles. So, what do you think the government should do regarding those area?
Okay, the thing is, the government has already put structures around persons who have the local government CFO and whatever document that is issued by the local government. Now, there's something that they do right now, which is to regularize. Some people, it depends on the aspect of the transaction. You could do what they call recertification.
Okay.
There's You have a body that was established to accommodate area council lands.
Title.
They call them actors. So when you make the necessary applications to to get your area council land regularized, then you pass through the process, and then you're now issued a proper CFO that is recognized by the FCDA, because it's from the FCDA, issued by the minister of the FCT, who is working on behalf of the president.
Okay. Sorry, we are actually property vendors, Shelter Group Limited. But Oga, as a development consultant, how would you say the general real estate industry has affected you positively, and what are the challenges you've been having as a development consultant?
Yeah, positively, yes, because it's money earning
That's right.
and it keeps you quite busy in what you're doing. And the other aspect is, let's step out of Abuja. Abuja has a good framework in terms of real estate development, but if you and Lagos has been going
Yeah.
to Port Harcourt as well. These are state governments. Some of state governments, they've actually put things in place in order to enhance real estate development in their own states. And that is why in Lagos you have real estate regulatory agency as well authority, and in Abuja there's a lot of mix up here and there, but I think that's a sense of direction. But if you come to my place, like my own state, we don't have such regulations, and that's why we have a whole lot of fraud going on in terms of the businesses in real estate, land grabbing and even in terms of the areas of government land as well. Politicians, they try to invade it, they do whatever they want to do in that aspect, even at the detriment of some innocent customers coming to get such allocations
Okay.
given to them. But generally, I've been, like in Imo State, I tried to go to the House of Assembly. I submitted a kind of a document asking them to come up to enact certain or establish their own regulations, the real estate regulation regulatory authority that will also enhance and protect investors as well. And you look at even the end users. It's not sufficient enough to have these what they call land use act.
Okay.
It's not. Apart from leading that, we need to have a regulatory body because there are transactions in it. You build on this land as well. The government should also be part of to understand how the processes, how they are going on, and also the government can as well increase their revenues from such, transactions. Well done. Lagos State, they are getting their billions working on because they have everything moving and Lagos is expanding. But the whole structures have been placed very well. Government stays one angle, so the agency is really doing the
Okay.
job
Okay.
well.
Let's assume that the Imo State government is listening to you right now.
Yes.
What would you like to tell them?
I tried to even talk to the present commissioner for lands, and a couple of times most times, sorry to say this, they don't really understand what you're saying because everything is politicized.
Okay.
Politicized, they won't want to say or what they want to say. This is land, and it's very dangerous because the natives are all selling up their lands with proper direction. Because even if you're looking at coming into the rural areas, someday that we have a plan to make it become urban, a city. But the people are just selling it up because they want something escape from poverty. But the state government should be able to direct that in terms of urban planning,
Okay.
the city development. It expands from one local government to another if we want to create that. So with me, I would still advise the state government to institute that and make sure they guide developers coming into the state to do what they want to do and also guide landowners.
Do you have a master plan in your state?
Yes, but fortunately, I looked into it. It
You
wasn't
have a
even
master plan as a state?
as a state.
Yes, as the whole Imo State now. Do you guys
The
have
military, the
master
first
plan?
military administrator of Imo State did that.
And it cover all the local governments?
No, they started with first with the main municipal.
Or capital?
Lower capital, exactly. They started with that. But the local governments, they are just at the mercy. Whatever they tell them from the state, the center, that is what they take. But for that, some governors came to carry it on, but some decided to just play around it and then leave it that way. But I'll give kudos to Rochers. Rochers opened
To
up,
Rochers?
looked at that exactly, but the
Oh,
only thing we have the problem there just finishing the
Okay.
quality of delivery. That just but Hope has quality delivery, but he's a little bit slowed down in not taking it the way it's supposed to go because the Imo citizens are really eager to develop their land. That's the truth.
The thing is that I kind of realized that there is a whole lot that most state governors can do. I don't know what is stopping them from doing it because there is so much money in the housing and real estate sector. There's so much money. There's so much money to be made by the government, the state government, the federal government, and all of that. What do you think is the major challenge that Nigeria as a country is having when it comes to development?
You ask me, I get it.
I mean, nobody know that Abuja will be like this if not till Wike came in. There are some roads that I never knew was going to be open. Like in my lifetime, I just felt that this road now, like when you go to some area, like central area, there are some of these bridges that I thought this is a dead end. This thing there's no further construction going to happen. But I mean, boom, Wike is here and most of those places are open. Like you go to places like Uje, you'll be shocked that places in Kuje that if you go to, you will think you are in Guzape 2, but it's not Guzape 2. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So the problem we're having is actually managerial problem. Like having the right people man these offices, isn't it, Oga
Yes, I
Consultant?
agree with that. And also, it just everything is politics. This power struggle,
Do you-
grab
we are in the market,
without actually looking at the development aspect of governance.
We're in the market.
Yeah.
We face most of these investors on a daily basis. And some people, especially those ones that are buying from the diaspora, they will tell you, I want to buy from my state. I don't want to buy in Abuja. We don't have any other developments we are doing in any of the states apart from the FCT, right?
That's right.
But we have people who tell you, I don't want to buy in FCT. I want to buy in my village. I want to buy in Oyo State. I want to buy in Lagos State. I want to buy in call it Abia, Imo, Enugu. You understand? But the problem is that there is nothing attracting investors to those states. I'm not saying there is absolutely nothing there, but there are little that attracts people to come and invest in those areas. Because I mean, if you're putting down your money to buy a property, the idea of buying that is for you to generate passive income and what have you. Have a revenue being generated from that property. It's not just you're buying it because you just want those things to lie waste like that, right? But the problem we're having is that most of these places are underdeveloped. So, Oga, what does the law say? Is there any way the federal government can hold the state government accountable for not making sure this thing is done? Do you even think that we're supposed to have some kind of federal task force, that should insist that these states should have at least basic infrastructures? Especially if you go to some areas, some local government in these states, man, you'll be like, is this a country? Do you think the federal government should have some kind of a federal task force, that should, help checkmate, the rate of development in this? Do you know that from Abuja, if you want to go through road from Abuja to Kogi State here, once you just enter Kogi State, you're like, maybe you're in Togo or you're in Chad. I don't know. But the roads are bad. We have people that goes in to do campaign. They apply these roads and they give us promises. Nothing is done. So do you think the government should do a task force and mandate every state governor to do this road to your boundary and stop? Because sometimes they will tell us that this one is federal road, this one is state road. Okay, the ones that are state road, why not do it? I don't know if you understand. Every month we have state allocations now. You don't know what they call it? They call it security, what? Security, remind me now, guys. It's called security, is it security allocation or what?
The only
Security budget. Is it security budget?
This security vote you're thinking.
Security votes.
But security vote really has nothing to do with that.
So what part of the state, the revenue, not the revenue, what's part of the allocation is meant to construct the state roads? We're talking about infrastructure now. So what does the law say?
Well, this is not entirely a legal question. It is mixed, both politically and otherwise. But
so the law does not have any place in state and federal development. So
as far as the law is concerned, in respect to the FCT and then other states, every state has its land regulations. Every state. Abuja does, Lagos does, Abia State does. But what I see as the issue is multifaceted. It has different areas, both the political and then the enforcement area. Because politically, the governor is, let's talk about the governor, is the owner of the land according to section 28 of the 28, sorry, 21, section 1 of the Land Use Act, I believe. I hope I'm not mixing it up. But the landlord of every state is the governor. So if the governor issues out certain lands to people, then those lands are being issued with conditions attached to them. Now, these conditions that are attached to them are conditions that are expected to be complied with. However, you raised something very paramount. That's very important. If you don't have development, if you don't have infrastructure, it is not encouraging for an investor to go there. So you see that there are people that actually have the resources, but there is no government presence in those areas
to encourage them.
That's why if you notice what happens when you see government creating roads in particular places, you see that those areas will start selling very fast, and then real estate people like yourself, you take advantage of it and increase the price and say that there's development.
That's right.
So